First this is the floor. This is the sagittal section of the fourth ventricle, isn't it or not?
Yes. Like Tim.
Yes. Here is the cerebellum present. This is cerebellum,
Yeah.
and this is here is present the pons and medulla
This
oblongata.
is which ventricle?
This is the fourth ventricle.
Fourth ventricle.
The fourth ventricle. This is midbrain. This is the aqueduct of Sylvius. This is fourth ventricle. So this is structure which is making the roof. Here you can make the lines and it will become the cerebellum.
Yeah.
Isn't it or not? Okay. This structure which is making the roof. This is known as superior. Fourth ventricle. Who has taken this fourth ventricle?
What?
Dr. Alias?
Yes.
Superior medullary velum
Yes.
and inferior medullary velum.
The light.
So these are the two sheets of white matter. These are the two sheets of white matter. What is medullary velum? It is a sheet of other sheet. It is a sheet like this white matter, which makes the roof. Inferior medullary velum. In this roof are present this one midline. Here is present one midline opening present in the midline. And if you see it from behind, this fourth ventricle is shaped like this. It is shaped like this, diamond shape. So one opening is mojud hai na, and two openings present over here. Yes, this single midline opening is known as foramen of Legendi. And these two foramina are known as foramina of Luschka.
Here below.
Both doctor.
Yes, because on sides. In this picture we cannot make the side.
Yeah.
This is sagittal section here on side. We are making this section from here, from this line.
Okay.
Therefore we can have the midline over here. Foramina of Luschka.
But this one. Or different.
Luschka. Okay, from here the fluid will come out. When it will come out, this medullary velum, which is a sheet here, which is a sheet of white matter, but covered on the outside, is also pia matter. Because here is present the choroid plexus. So choroid plexus always is a combination of pia matter and the ependyma. So in this velum, inside is the ependyma, outside is the pia matter, in the middle is the white matter. So this is how here it is combination of pia matter and the ependyma, choroid plexus. So this means if something goes out of the pia matter, something goes outside of the pia matter, it will go into which space? Between pia matter and arachnoid matter. So what is the space?
Subarachnoid.
So therefore the fluid goes from here. Fluid from these three openings goes out into the subarachnoid space. So when it is constantly produced in the lateral ventricle, and from lateral ventricle it will go into the third ventricle through the two foramina known as foramina of Monro.
Yes.
It will go into the third ventricle, also produced in the third ventricle. Together they will go from the cerebral aqueduct into the fourth ventricle, also produced in the fourth ventricle. But first they will fill this canal, central canal of the spinal cord. When this whole system is full and it is constantly produced, there is Murphy stoppage. 24 hours it is being produced. Therefore it has to escape, yani go out. It has to go out of the ventricular system. It goes into the subarachnoid space. Then all the subarachnoid space around the brain and all the subarachnoid space along the spinal cord is again filled up. So now what happens? Still the CSF is being produced.
Drainage to the vein.
So now then it drains to the vein. So it has formed from the blood. It should go back to the blood.
But which vein?
Of which vein? It is in the sinus. Cranial cavity has got sinuses.
Yes.
So it is most of the CSF goes into the superior sagittal sinus. If you make a section of the head, as we have mentioned this many times, this is dura mater,
Yes.
which comes like this. Dura mater comes like this,
Yes.
and this dura mater goes down to make the falx cerebri. And then we have got the arachnoid matter over here, arachnoid matter, and the pia matter.
Fluid in subarachnoid.
Yes, this the fluid. I'm sorry, arachnoid matter should be near here. I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
Arachnoid matter should be near the dura matter, and this should be the pia matter away from it on the surface, because the space is between the arachnoid matter and the pia matter. I hope now we have understood.
Yes, yes.
So the fluid is over here. So what happens? This I was telling you. This arachnoid matter is being pushed out like this, and then it pushes the dura matter and goes like this. These structures, many arachnoid granulations.
Granulations.
So many such structures are pushing in, and they are pushing the dura matter, and they are protruding into this one. This is the sinus, superior sagittal sinus. And from here, when this arachnoid motor goes out, the subarachnoid space also goes out like this. So the fluid automatically goes here. Then there are very small openings in this arachnoid matter over here, from where this fluid filters out, and it's constantly being added to the blood. So this is the drainage by means of these structures which are known as arachnoid granulations.
This structure.
These names of arachnoid granulation, these are the projections. Actually, these are the projections of arachnoid matter. Arachnoid matter through the dura matter. And it goes through the dura matter into superior sagittal sinus.
Because all the cerebrospinal fluid drains to superior sagittal.
Almost all.
Other
these.
sinuses.
No other sinuses. Superior sagittal sinus. This tissue fluid, which is filling the ventricular cavity as well as the subarachnoid space, and it is present inside the brain and it is present outside the brain. So the first and foremost function of the cerebrospinal fluid is that it behaves as a shock absorber. It absorbs the shock. So therefore, whenever there is some strike to the head and the brain is moving, so there is no damage to the brain. It absorbs the shock just like the shock absorbs of the absorber of the Sayyara. Sayyara has got shock absorber. It receives the shocks, and we do not feel any shock. When we are driving on uneven surfaces, we do not feel any shock until we of course hit some very high place. So this is how it is behaving as a shock absorber. Besides this, it is behaving as a tissue fluid actually. It's tissue fluid, just like the tissue fluid anywhere in the body. And through this fluid, the substances are exchanged between the tissue of the nervous tissue and the blood. The substances are exchanged. Where this CSF is being formed over here, between the pia mater and the ependyma, there is a barrier which is present. Yani everything which is present in the blood does not pass through this barrier to be added into the CSF, because CSF enters into the tissue of the brain. This means it is traveling in the tissue. Just like any tissue has got the fluid, which is in the physiology is known as interstitial fluid. This CSF is actually the interstitial fluid of the nerve tissue. It percolates through the tissues of the brain as well. Therefore, we are saying that it helps in exchange of substances between the blood and the blood, between the brain and the blood. So therefore, everything which is present in the blood does not cross these two structures, that is the pia mater and the ependyma, to enter into the CSF. This is known as blood cerebrospinal fluid barrier. Just like when the blood vessels are going into the tissue of the brain, between the wall of the capillary and the capillaries which are going in the brain, they are surrounded by astrocytes, cytoplasmic processes. They surround them. These are known as food processes. The material which is going from the blood into the brain substance has to pass through this tissue. That is the wall, jidar of the capillary, as well as this foot process of the astrocyte. Only then it will be entering into the brain tissue. These two structures are forming a barrier again, which is known as blood-brain barrier. So a barrier is present between the blood and the brain tissue, and a barrier is present between the blood and the cerebrospinal fluid, because CSF can enter into the brain tissue. Therefore, the same barrier should be present between the blood and the cerebrospinal fluid.
But different in structure.
Different in structure. Histology is different only. So this is known as blood cerebrospinal fluid barrier, and there is another one is known as blood brain barrier. So this is what we need to know. In some of the diseases, the chemical and the physical properties of the cerebrospinal fluid will change. And there is one pressure also, normal pressure. Everything has normal pressure. For example, blood has normal pressure. Eyeball, inside the eyeball has got normal pressure, which is known as intraocular pressure. Similarly, cranial cavity inside has got a pressure, which is known as the intracranial pressure. This is all normal pressures. Any pressure, if it is going increased, it is dangerous. Blood pressure goes high, it becomes a disease. Intraocular pressure goes high, it produces a disease, glaucoma. Intracranial pressure goes high, it produces severe disease. Sometimes the person is going to die because of the increased intracranial pressure. So there are many conditions which are causing increased pressure of these things. So similarly, this CSF pressure, there is normal CSF pressure. I have not recently seen, it should have been written in your presentation. Not recently, I have not seen the presentation. Maybe it is probably 15 millimeter of water. Usually the pressure is measured in millimeter of mercury.
Yes, mercury.
Sometimes it is measured in centimeters of water. Sometimes it is mentioned as centimeters of water. So its pressure, whatever normal pressure, I think it is 15 centimeter of water something. I may be wrong, you have to correct it from the presentation. In some of the diseases, the chemical constitution of this cerebrospinal fluid and the pressure of cerebrospinal fluid changes. So we as a doctor, we should remember what is the normal pressure and what is the normal color and what is the normal chemical composition. Because it has been produced by the blood, it has got chemical composition, it has got sodium in it, it has got sugar in it, it has got protein in it. But if it was simply a diffusion from the blood, yani you know that when we remove the blood, the cells from the blood, what is remaining is plasma. If it plasma simply diffuses from some membrane and goes to the other side, there will be no change in the plasma. The plasma which is present on one side will be the same plasma on the other side. We see that the constitution of plasma, the protein content of the plasma, is different than the protein content of the cerebrospinal fluid. The sugar content of the plasma is different than the sugar content of the cerebrospinal fluid. This means what I am trying to say is that cerebrospinal fluid production is an active process. It is not a passive process. It is not simply the filtration of the blood, just like there is filtration in the kidney. In the kidney, in the glomerulus, there is a filtration. When the blood filters, only the cells are remaining on one side, all the plasma goes to the other side with all the contents of the blood: sodium, potassium, bicarbonate, chloride, glucose, protein, everything is filtered. Then therefore there is a need of reabsorption from the proximal convoluted tubule, because these are all contents of the blood. They should not go outside the body. So therefore that process is known as a process of filtration. Everything is filtered. But here, from the blood into the ventricles, everything does not go. So therefore it is actively controlling. This means this structure, which is known as choroid plexus, is something doing actively. It is holding something. It is not allowing the sodium to go. It is not allowing the potassium to go. And it allows the sugar, but in less amount. Therefore the amount of the sugar which is present in the cerebrospinal fluid is different from the amount of the sugar which is present in the blood. What I am saying is that this thing is proving that this fluid is produced by means of some active mechanism, not by means of simple passive filtration. So protein content of the CSF is different from the protein content of the blood. So you have to remember these normal chemical constitution of the cerebrospinal fluid. What is the normal color? What is the normal pressure? What is the normal sugar content? What is the normal protein content? And what is the cellular component? There should be no cells present normally. When we know these 4 or 5 things, normal things, then we can know that now in the abnormality, why we remove the CSF in some of the diseases?
Yes.
Because when we remove the CSF from here, we immediately send it to the laboratory.
Yes.
Laboratory will check it and they will say that this much is sugar, this much is protein, this much is the pressure and this much is the color. So now we can know that this is the different from the normal. This means this is something in the disease. The conditions which are producing changes in the cerebrospinal fluid are related to the brain. For example, inflammation of the brain, which is known as encephalitis. Inflammation of these dura mater and arachnoid mater and pia mater, which is known as meningitis. These are the important diseases which produce change in the cerebrospinal fluid. So this is all what you have to need to know about the cerebrospinal fluid. This is what our last lecture should have been. So this is what in briefly I have told you something about the cerebrospinal fluid. That it is a colorless fluid, just like water. It has no color. And it has got certain pressure, which I have given the presentation to Ali, and you can have at this presentation. And all these things are written in the text about the cerebrospinal fluid. How it is produced, how it is circulated, where it goes, as we just mentioned. It fills the ventricular system, it fills the subarachnoid space, and then it is drained out into the blood. So it comes from the blood, it returns back to the blood. Just like the tissue fluid comes from the blood and goes back to the blood. Something tissue fluid which does not go back to the blood, it is now carried by the lymphatic system.
Yes.
Because lymphatic system ultimately brings it back again into the blood.
Frustration.
Because all the lymphatics will again go into the blood. Into the junction of the internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein by means of the thoracic duct. So tissue fluid is drained by the lymphatic system. This tissue fluid is also known as lymph. So cerebrospinal fluid is a type of a tissue fluid by the brain tissue. For the brain tissue. Now you can ask Dr. Ali Hassan, and he will make a revision of this thorax and all these things. So where is he?